In this month's Ranger Nick segment, we hit the road and visit a farm in South Georgia to welcome migrating purple martins, the largest swallow in North America. Every year, these birds travel from South America to breed and feed on thousands of insects, helping farmers reduce insect pests and helping outdoor enthusiasts from getting eaten alive by flies and mosquitoes.
Well, I tell you what, folks, here we are down in South Georgia. I'm joined by Mr. Bill Worthington, one of my former students. Bless your heart, I appreciate you, Bill. We're out on his farm down here right outside of Metter, Georgia, and I want to ask Bill about how he got into this, we'll call it a hobby, of attracting purple martins to his property. Bill, how'd you get into this? We're looking at some gourds up above us where these things live. How'd you get into this? What got you excited about purple martins?
Well, we are right here about 50 yards from the horse barn. And horses are susceptible to diseases like Eastern and Western encephalitis, which are transmitted by mosquitoes. And that's what purple martins are famous for, is eating mosquitoes. They eat thousands in a day. So we wanted to attract some purple martins as a natural control for mosquitoes.
Wonderful. And the thing is about these purple martins was so wild. These things only feed in the air, so they feed moving. They'll eat, as you say, thousands of insects at a time, and they even drink in the air too. They'll skim across the top of a pond and grab some of that water out of the pond. Just an amazing bird. Purple martins being the largest of the swallows in North America, very similar to the barn swallow, the tree swallow, some of those other birds you may see on your property. And the way about these birds, the way they fly, just incredible to see them turn and fly like that. Bill, you were saying that you've been out on your property before and mowed around some of these gourds and the places where they nest, and what do they do when you do that?
They come and dive at my head. Well, by then they will have babies. They'll be raising babies, and I guess they are threatened by my lawnmower. Okay. Or maybe, perhaps, other than diving at my head, I'm stirring up insects, and they're probably eating some of the insects.
You know, I was thinking the same thing, and I got to ask you this too, Bill. I don't know if you know. Do you know what a baby purple martin is called?
No, I don't.
We call it a martini. Just kidding, that's just a joke. So anyway, I made that one up. I don't know where that came from, but I made that one up. But Bill, what I really want to talk to you about today is, you know, we're standing underneath of these gourds, and if I drove by your property from the road, I would look at these and say, wow, this guy's got a lot of gourds that he's grown, that he's then, I guess, hollowed out and worked with and hung up. Talk to us about these gourds, because as I get closer, I'm beginning to think that maybe you didn't do that. Where'd you get these guys?
Well, then we have tried growing gourds and then fixing them up, but the problem we had was growing them big enough. Oh, yeah. So we purchased these, bought them at Ace Hardware, I think. They're already done, plus when you raise a natural gourd, you paint it white to keep them cool.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the thing, and I'm looking at these, and I don't know if we could see this. We've got holes that Bill was saying are already drilled in the bottom so that the water can drain out. And the three gourds that we looked at a minute ago that are already taken, you know, that we already have tenants in there, we'll call it, we can tell they're already taken because I can't see through the holes. And these martins, they're not idiots. They have picked out the biggest and best gourds already to build their nests in. You know, Bill and I were talking before we got out here. Bill was saying back around February 20th, was it, that these martins, a few of them began to show up. And a lot of people call them scouts. They come early to kind of investigate the site. Those scouts are the older martins, and by older, 7, maybe 8 years old. The more senior martins come in early to scope out the joint, make sure that everything is still there and ready, and then, Bill, is that right, they leave after that?
Apparently meet the others coming up on the way and say, okay, everything's good back at the old home place.
Yeah, I mean, and then they end up coming here, and it's literally about March 15th, on or about every year, that they come to your property. Is that right?
That's right.
I mean, that's amazing.
They won't miss that day more than a day or two.
That's
any
crazy.
Year.
I can't imagine not having a calendar. I can't imagine not, even though people say he doesn't know what day it is, I can't imagine not knowing what day it is. These birds are able to detect what day it is. And what ornithologists, people that study birds, tell us is that they know by photo period, or the amount of light that's around. So the birds can't show up too early. If they show up too early, even here in South Georgia, might have frost, might not have insects around, and they run the risk of dying, starving to death. So they've got to get it just about right to get here on time and be able to, on a day like today, come out and feed on those thousands of insects. Yeah. Bill, I can't thank you enough for letting us see this out here today. Tell us, this is just a cool story about how you know they're about ready to leave that you were telling me.
Well, we've got to the horse barn, there's a power feeder line, and usually about July the 4th, we'll come out there and they'll be lined up where usually they're on their houses or they're on trees or they're flying around, but we'll start seeing them lined up on the power line. And we know, of course, we get to count how many there are, but then it won't be but a day or two and they're gone.
So you see them out on the power line. That's when you know that the circus is lining back up in the train and getting ready to leave. That's just incredible. From March 15th to nearly July 4th, these guys come back to the same place year after year. I can't imagine if you didn't have them here, how hard that would be to swallow. No pun intended. Man, wasn't this wild this month? Getting to come out here, see these purple martins, see them out here in action, just a great time. If y'all have story ideas, if you've got questions, I so much enjoy getting emails at that rangernickuga@gmail.com. What a blast. People from all over the country have emailed and asked questions, and I love it. I got to give a special shout out, though. I've got a fan up in South Hill, Virginia, and her name's Molly, and she turned 6 years old in just a couple weeks, and Molly is a fan of the show, apparently has gone out in the woods and applied some of the things that Ranger Nick has talked about, and I appreciate you, Molly. So thanks so much for watching. Thank you all for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see you again next month. See ya.
Well, if attracting purple martins or martinis to your property is something you might be interested in, Ranger Nick says no problem. All the info you need is located at the web address you see on your screen. That's purplemartin.org.